haven't even seen it.
Oh,
so
it's
this
gonna
will
be
good.
great then. Hello, and welcome to another episode of South Star Classroom, or as my brother Omar used to say in his old show, Bueno.
Bueno.
I was gonna try to do it, but
You did great.
tagline.
You did great.
I appreciate that, man. Well, we got the fellas here. Jubilee will be joining us soon, but you know what? We're gonna do check-ins before she get here. How about that? We're gonna beat her to it. So, how you doing, man? What's new with you?
School just started, man. We're doing all right. It's a lot going on. You know how it is at the beginning of the school year.
That I do, brother. That I do, man. That's what's up, man. Any other things you got going on? Anything, any other check-ins? Did you get a chance to escape and get back to us or whatever? Or?
I had a small escape before the craziness of the year, man. I went out to. You ever been out to Asheville, North Carolina? Have I talked about that?
I've been in North Carolina. I don't know if I've been to Asheville.
It's beautiful. It's up in like the Smoky Mountains. It's a really interesting place. It's like this really kind of interesting like artist colony. There's music venues everywhere. Like David, you would love it. There's
South Carolina,
North Carolina. So it's on the very western edge of North Carolina. For such a small town, and a lot of music venues, like 12. So pretty dope, man. But just going into classrooms, check it in on teachers, seeing how things are going. We got a lot to talk about with the beginning of school. David, your kiddo start school yet? I don't think so.
Yeah.
This is they already started?
2.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
This is week number 2. Yeah, I mean he really started like 3 weeks ago with band camp, so he's been at school for like 3 weeks now. But last week was the start of the official school year, and we got Friday night football coming up this week. Marching band, and so it's happening, man. We're in full swing. So far so good. They didn't mess up. Whenever, and it's always a thing. It's like when you put out the schedules, and what if there's a question about the schedules for the students? And I was he kind of had a complicated schedule this year for a number of different reasons, but they nailed it. Like whatever system they use, they figured out all the nuts and bolts, and I was like, thank God we don't have to worry about that. So yeah, he's good.
Hey, we just starting school sooner and sooner. We're gonna be back to year round soon, man. I had a year round. It was 3 months on, 3 months off. Maybe that's where we're getting to.
Did you like it?
It was different. The only thing it had its perks, but the only thing is it was in one school, so we were on track. So let's say the 3 of us are friends.
Yeah,
exactly. On track A, he might be on B, and you might be on C. So I don't get to be off in the summer with David or you. So we're not off at the same time. So that's the thing I didn't like.
Yeah. One other work thing is one of my clients in Oakland. It's been a long time client. I've worked with them, through a bunch of different types of projects, and they just started the school year. It's a charter high school in Oakland, California. They're just starting the school year too, but it's a very interesting situation because there's a lot of like pressure, political, legal pressure for the school to close like last year, this past June. In Oakland, we had I think 4 schools closed like very abruptly, and so imagine your school closing in June. Everybody's already enrolled in schools for the fall, and you've missed all the deadlines, and you're like, now what? It's crazy. And so they were trying to do the same thing to this school, to my client's school, and we fought them, and we the school is going to remain open for one more year, and we're not going to renew due to like enrollment issues, which is fine. But we're going to close and make sure that throughout the year, every single student gets a particular level of like case management and their families to find a new school, to make sure they apply, to make sure that they take an acceptance. We're going to be doing school visits outward. The schools are going to be coming in. And so just making sure everybody's in a really good place for next year. So, you know, closing a school is never a good thing, but it doesn't always have to be a complete shit show. You know, I mean, people can like say, let's give people time. Let's do it the right way. Let's keep students and families at the forefront. Because we've seen what it looks like when it doesn't work well for community. So, you know, that is going to be an interesting thing this year too, just kind of supporting a school that, you know, is closing. So there's like bittersweet feelings about it, but it's also like a celebration because the school has been around for a long time. And there's fewer kids around, you know. It's crazy. The school is closing in June. And so we anticipated a significant enrollment loss. We were very transparent with families. We're like, we're closing, but you're welcome to come. And the school pretty much has the same enrollment as it did last week.
I mean, yeah, I'm not really surprised by that, just from what I've seen in my experience. But any other check-in? I want to make sure I get this right. You know what I'm saying? I got to make sure I don't be getting the heat for it.
Speaking of heat, it's been a record heat and humidity here where I'm at. So we're
humidity.
It's crazy. The climate is change. Climate change is real. Like this past month, July has been the hottest ever recorded on record in my zip code. So when they say climate change ain't real, it's real. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
man, I have to drop in some pictures into our group chat. So in my update, I went to my timeshare thing. I was in the Bahamas. There was a tornado here at home while I was away.
I thought you were about to say there was a tornado in the Bahamas. I was like, man, that's
no, they have hurricanes.
Real.
I mean, this is right before hurricane season, so you do get like the crazy rains and winds for 20 minutes, and then it stops, and then it's dry again. But here, and it was like, it wasn't like tornadoes getting this close to the city is kind of new-ish. But you get those winds, it's the Windy City. It just ripped. Like I groaned about it last year when I had to pay like $1,500 or $1,200 to, prune my trees and cut them back. But I'm glad I did. It was crazy. I mean, my neighbor's car, all the windows busted out from trees. My street sign just got uprooted. It just ripped up and just out in front of my crib. I'm gonna drop pictures in our chat. And then and school has started back everywhere, just earlier than ever. It's just, these kids are not, they're like, yo, I thought we just got out. It's gonna be interesting. And then on a good note, I shared this with you all. It's good, but the journal isn't officially out. I think it's coming out in a few days. It'll be published, but one of my articles, research, is actually got published.
All right.
Yeah, we're in Freedom, a journal of research in Africana studies, and man, I am.
That's dope.
I'm really, really proud, man. And let me see if I can go to the actual article. The article is empowering agency over grit, cultivating academic success and identity among Black males through the A&D model. So the model that I've been using and building out in Energy Converters, now the Agentic Institute, it's officially, peer reviewed. And we got a few more. I got another manuscript I'm working on, and hopefully I can get it in there. Jube, just let us know when you're ready to come up, and I'll pull you up. But yeah, so it's been a weird last few weeks. Like I said, I think I went and spoke at a bunch of schools in California just as we were starting the school year. And you're absolutely right, David. One of the schools that I was at, they just got an influx of students because a few schools around them had to close. I want to make sure we get to the topic, but it does have a question on my mind. Like, do you think that we're ever just going to go back to the way schools, used to be, like the kind of the 2 or 3 major big high schools in big cities, maybe 10 middle schools and a few more. But I understand the concept of these smaller schools, but I don't know, man. It's just this level of upheaval is a lot. And this isn't a charter thing, a traditional. It's kind of happening across the board. So
I mean, it's easier to run a small middle school. I mean, elementary school, because you just have like classrooms. It's hard. It's very hard to run a small middle or high school, because you got to have you still have to have all the courses, right?
Right.
And so I think that's the big challenge. But I mean, there's definitely a population shift happening right now. People are moving around. And so I think what we're seeing is kind of, I mean, it is what it is. It's happening. So, and schools have to respond. I think, it'll be interesting to see how the districts respond. Some of them are, but we'll see how that goes.
Man, it was a thank you for that, Bill. Yeah, I just was curious because I mean, Bill was mentioning this earlier about the small schools movement, and I get why people wanted the small schools, and that's how the old thing was, right? There were always more elementary schools because you don't want that many kids. It's easier, like you said, it's one classroom. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to switch classes. And then there were slightly few middle schools, but there was usually like the high school, right? Like in my old town. Oh, she said it's hard to see us. Sorry. Well, let us know. I'll mess with that in a minute. But like in Paducah, like there still is like the major high school. Like Paducah Tillman is like, and if you're the captain of that football team, you're kind of royalty a little bit. And so I don't know, man. I mean, it might be time to go back to I don't know. It's interesting. But
I got one more quick.
Go ahead.
I don't want to drag this on because Jubilee is here now, so she's gonna want to check in too. So
yes,
I'll prep her. One quick thing. I was gone last week, and what I was doing was I was doing volunteer work for my son's band program. We volunteer at a local music venue. We sell beer at one of the stands, and we get a chunk of the proceeds. And the tips goes directly to the foundation that supports the music program at the high school. And we just got to go and work. And so last Friday, I choose selectively when I go to volunteer. And last Tuesday was the Doobie Brothers and Carlos Santana.
Oh, you got Santana. I love Santana.
Dude.
Maria goes. I love it.
It was amazing. I'm like, I'm volunteering and I'm listening to this music, and man, it was great. So anyways, yeah.
Well, Drew,
that's kind of a good gig.
Huge.
Yeah, I'll put myself at the bottom so the thing isn't on your face. But I will say before we go to you, Jube, Miss Toya had a question. She said it was hard to see. You're in the virtual. You're watching from the virtual feed. You can go to the other feed that's traditional, where it's wider. So some people like to watch on their phones, and the virtual one. The vertical, not virtual, I'm sorry. The vertical one is a little, it's fit more for phones. But if you like the other one, just click on the other link. It should come up on my page if you can't see it. But how you doing, Jude?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. Happy Tuesday. I'm alive and well. That's all I'll say. We've got a week left. School starts a week from today, and
wow,
I'm looking forward to it. It's all good. I got no complaints. Try to hang on to the rest of summer. Had some live music events. Go see some comedy, and maybe catch a flight somewhere. We'll see.
Okay, well, do your thing, man. That's what's up. I will say. What'd you say?
I said it's good to see y'all.
Good to see you as well. Good to see you as well. So today's topic is about, school is starting back. A lot of people are back in school, so things are happening, and people are going to do what they do. There is this video that has since become controversial. I think it lends to a nuanced conversation. There's like multiple conversations happening. It's about literacy. It's about being an influencer. It's a whole thing. We're going to watch it together, people. I'm going to put it on 2x speed. You'll be able to follow. It's about 2.5 minutes, so it'll cut it in half. But let's give it a watch, and then you all let me know your thoughts, okay? We game for that?
Yep.
Indeed.
Cool.
So I'm on my lunch break. It is, I don't know, 11:30 or something like that. And I just finished a 3-hour class. We have what's called block, and block is where first and second periods are combined for subjects.
Can you put them on 1.5?
I literally broke down in the middle of class because,
There you go.
so I am on my lunch break. It is
Thank you.
11:30 or something like that. And I just finished a 3-hour class. We have what's called block, and block is where first and second periods are combined for subjects that need it. And so I literally broke down in the middle of class because I'm teaching seniors. These kids are leaving high school and going to college, hopefully, after they finish. We had 2 paragraphs to read, 1 sentence complete to write. I gave them the sentence stems. I basically completed the sentence for them in the model. These are 17 and 18-year-old kids, and they couldn't fill in 4 words. 4 words. I gave them the scenario. We annotated together. I gave them the answers before we even had the problem, and they couldn't do it. I don't know. I simply don't know where the problem is. This is only day 2, and I have seniors who simply cannot read and seniors who cannot write. They cannot write. They can reason. They have the ability to defend their reasoning if it's talking to their homeboy, but applying that to a written text, 2 paragraphs, they couldn't do it. Our young black men, our young brown men, our young black girls, and our young brown girls. Oh, God.
So, I would love thoughts, I think, and just, should I give you all the context now, or let us do thoughts first and then give context for it? What do you guys think?
Context.
Okay. Context. No other votes? Okay, democracy. We got
That's
you.
fine.
You ran in the
I
post.
I was feeling context.
It's a monarchy.
Yeah, man,
it's
'cause,
okay.
like, look, man, I got my shit to go off on, but I would like a little context before I start putting my
So the
foot in my mouth.
context is the guy. So this is going super viral, especially in black social media world. That's why I was asking if it hit you all.
I've seen it.
Right? You said
I've
you have?
seen it, man. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Several times.
So a lot of big prominent people picked it up, and then you come to find out he is also an influencer. He's like a cooking influencer, and there are some people that said that he's a scammer. I don't know the brother. I'm not putting that on his jacket, but then there was just a lot of backlash around the awfulization of kids and shit. This this is anti-black and things like that, and so it took the conversation left from these issues and kind of went more on him, which I think are valid issues. So I wanted to get you all's reaction, and we can have a nuanced conversation. We can do both. You know what I'm saying? We can look at we can look at it in both ways. So let's start with the well, I don't know. I'm gonna let you guys start where you want to start. We'll go to Jude first, or right of refusal, Jude. What was your reaction? And then you guys just jump in. I don't want to lead the witnesses.
No, so my initial reaction when I saw it a few days back, maybe last week, was like, oh my God, this is so sad. This is so true. This is reality. This week, I am struggling to not giggle because I had conversations with professionals and friends and well-educated folks who knew more background on the gentleman, and people were talking about this kind of being fraudulent. And so now watching it back the second time, it's like, it's harder to take him seriously. But if I'm just talking about the context, right, or the content rather, then it's sad either way, right? And whether he's acting or not acting, it's still true. And I am sure we can find thousands of teachers who would agree and share similar experiences about the lack of literacy proficiency in our classrooms and across the country. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, David, go ahead. I'm just taking initial thoughts.
Taking it as it comes.
I'll let Omar finish because that's his state. So this guy, the teacher is from Houston Independent School District, HISD.
Yeah, I mean, shit's going down in Houston, dude.
It is, but I mean, I'm just thinking like, okay, like, is it all the kids? Is it some of the kids? Number one, I'm like, what? The first, when I heard about I didn't even watch it. This is the first time I saw it, but I think I understood the premise of it. I'm like, okay, so what's it going to do? This is not going to like spark any like instructional change in the system. I'm like, why not go to a board meeting and do that at a board meeting, right? And then number 4 is not a perfect system, but there are guardrails in place where, maybe some kids end up making it to 12th grade with very like, less than stellar literacy skills, but it's not a whole bunch of kids, so it doesn't pass the sniff test.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
So I've seen it a few times because it keeps coming up on my social media feeds, probably for several reasons. And the first time I watched it, and here's my like constant vacillation that I love, but I've come up to a spot where I reckon I can stand on. On one end, look, dude, like I sympathize. I got 9th graders coming into my high school, 10th graders coming into my high school, 1st grade reading level. Granted, those students can hardly speak English. So those two are correlated with one another. So I empathize immensely. On the other end, like, and I name this name because I think he's a definitive expert when it comes to online media, when it comes to, I think, understanding a word that I really enjoy that he perpetuated. He without naming names, I have a friend who's a very famous podcaster and host on was a host on NPR and KCRW, and he didn't make mention of this. But I bet you $1,000 if I showed him this video, he'd be like, yo, that looks performative. And on one end, maybe the performative nature is necessary because it's got us talking on this podcast. It's got it blown up. It's got us talking about literacy. So maybe kind of this contrived performative spectacle. Because I'm like, the shit is this, man. I'm not going to get on a camera and start crying and shit and start sending it out to people. Like I know we're all supposed to be in touch with our feelings, but like, to go back to the 80s, that's some poo butt shit. Is that an 80s or 90s term, Doc? The poo butts. Remember that one, man? That's a good ass term.
I'm familiar with poo butts, brother. I am familiar with
it's some poo butt shit. And ultimately, like, on one end, like, people are like, he's courageous, he's crying. No, I think that's some like definitive poo butt shit. However, maybe the fact that he was kind of up in arms caught the kind of reaction that he was hoping for, where people are having this conversation about, this issue. Because ultimately, Mama Toya, Bill, like all day long, Alonzo, us, like we all know what's going on with our kids. We all know that they can't read. We all know that there's a huge literacy issue. I wonder if the nation as a whole understands the crisis that we're in. And I wonder if they care. So I got to tell you, man, performative or not, I definitely think it's performative. Some weak ass shit, sure. Because like I ain't videoing myself having some kind of like, man, my kids can't read either. You don't see my ass like on this phone being like, oh shit, man, my kids can't read. No, man, I'm in the classroom being like, hey, here are a couple of things that we could do to get our kids read. I was there yesterday. I'll be there today. I'll be there tomorrow doing the exact same shit without crying about it. But, at the end of the day, what I didn't like was like, brother, if this was to be a performative thing, where's this action step? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we should all be paying attention to this. Hey, this is something that you can look up. Hey, here's a next step that you can take in your community. Hey, have you checked to see, if you're reading to your kids? Hey, 20 minutes a day reading to your kids. Nah, man, he just sat there and cried and shit. And I'm like, brother, if this had anything to do with your like bum ass cooking videos and poo bad ass other shit, I'm gonna be furious. Like you're just trying to call attention. You cooking some filet mignon or some chicken cordon bleu. No, that's what Doc was saying. He's got these like cooking influence videos.
Yeah, I think he's a cooking. I think he's a cooking influencer too. I don't know if he's a new teacher or subbing. Like he seems to be new-ish in this room or something.
I mean,
and he's a performer. So I mean, yeah. But go ahead, Dave.
I mean, I don't want to separate. We are not like discounting the larger issue, the national issue around literacy. However, I think, and I'm not even going to focus it on this particular individual, but I will say, like, what if you're in his classroom? What if you're one of the kids in that classroom?
Oh, and they spoke up. They did not like it.
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're not necessarily like violating their like legal privacy, but like whether if it's a true story or not, like you're kind of putting their business out there, and like that's just not ethical or not fair to them. So for that, I think brings up. That kind of it's not doing anything to solve the issue. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where. Well, go ahead, brother.
No, I just wanted to back that up and simply say, Mama Toya was saying like, hey man, he made this thing all about him. And I'm like, that was my big beef. So I'm with her entirely, where I was like, you could have made this kind of, PSA, right? Like a public service announcement. You could have made this kind of call to arms. You could have made this kind of, hey, check out these links and attention to the issue. You made it all about him. I'm 100% with you, Toya. And maybe about his
I will say this. My reaction is both. It's both ends. And I think, we've done how many shows about literacy and talking about the literacy rate and all that. He did this post and it's tens of millions of views. And what I learned from reading the comments is one, that a lot of people don't know that we're in a literacy crisis.
Yeah.
That was interesting. It has shifted from, it started out like the educators were going in on the literacy piece. And then when they kind of found out about him, it was more around like this performative act or what they felt to be performative.
Right.
And there, for the people that don't know, and maybe you all know this, when you go down a rabbit hole, there is a subgenre of social media that is just educators shitting on kids and students in their schools. Like it's a thing. And and not all of it is negative, right? I remember there was the one guy with the like the kindergarten or first grade class, and it was really cute, right? He was talking to these kids about why they were great and what they wanted to be. And it was this very, kids say the darndest things type of situation, right? This, and I think two things can be true at once. I think this may be performative, it may not be. And I don't like content made off the backs of young people, especially when you're supposed to be the person that's educating them. Especially when you're supposed to be doing that, right?
Preach.
Like if you shouldn't be using a classroom as your stepping stone for your real career in social media. I think that's why.
Let me share some words here from a friend and a colleague of mine who happens to be the superintendent of Houston ISD, Mike Miles.
About their A and that they fixed that 4 years ago.
When he was interviewed about it, he says that's not new information, right?
Yeah,
it's like literacy in the district is not new information. He pointed out that low reading and math proficiency is exactly why the state took over Houston ISD. He noted that particular school has been rated as an F 4 years ago,
and it's an A now.
And yeah, exactly. And so as a whole, right? So there's that. Justified pushing kids toward. He also argued that his aggressive standardized curriculum is working. He explained that while critics complain the district is moving too fast and pushing students too hard, raising expectations is the only way to minimize these exact situations in the future.
Yeah, and that goes to my second part of the point, right? My second point was like, literacy is we're in an epidemic right now, and it's not and there is I'm Black, so I was looking at all the anti-Black stuff. This is anti-Black, this is this, and it's like, okay, let's be clear. Across this country, every race is struggling with literacy as far as numbers are concerned. There's a drop. It's not good anywhere. I'm Black. I happen to be more focused on Black people. So when I'm talking to Black people and you know what I'm saying, in those ways, right? You have to have some kind of way to talk about this stuff and make people aware, because what it tells me with that many views is that, and I hate it, and I hate the message that this is going to give. This is how you get attention on it. Not when we come with our, where we're doing this and we're like, hey, literacy is here and we're talking about it and doing it. And we love our crew. We love the people that watch us, but it ain't millions and millions and millions of people. I was really reading comments where people were like, we're in a literacy problem. And then the Atlantic, we're an Atlantic group. We share Atlantic articles. I don't know if I shared it, but there's an article about we're in the post-literate generation now.
Yeah.
Like it's a post.
We talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
I used that article.
Yeah. And I've read that. I've since shared that article. I've brought it in. And basically, for those that don't remember, post-literacy is we are, instead of going to primary text as your primary first source of learning, it's now video or shortens or song or audio. It's everything but the written word.
Of video. It's a lot of video.
And now AI, with AI there. So the thing for me was, hey, we can critique the cat that's doing it and performative and all that. And I got to kind of admit that it's getting more eyes on it than what I'm doing. I can write my 12th report about this shit, and at the same time, even with all this stuff and how it makes you feel, we are in a literacy crisis. We are in a place. And here's the thing. I've been in classrooms. I run an org, and I'm not about to do the crying thing, but they write blogs. That's how we track their learning. That's how we bring the public into, hey, this is what the young people are going to research. This is what they're learning, how they're doing it. And about 60, 70, I'm not going to put a number to it. A lot of those young people, those first round of blogs, it ain't there. It ain't it. I'm talking 5th grade level. I'm talking about shorthand in the blog. I'm talking about, using FR in the blog and not like saying for real, but and again, and we work with them. It's fine. Like we get them there. We work on that stuff. So again, both things can be true, but I just thought it was so fascinating. And that's why I wanted to bring it to this group. I covered it earlier. I did a full in-depth. That's why I knew what the superintendent said, because I had to cover it from so many places. I was just curious though, like I wanted to bring it to you all because I have my thoughts, but I'm just like, I wonder what Omar, Jube, and David think about it when they see it, right? And again, we're probably not as affected because we work in those environments and we have plans and we might go off on staff or adults, but it's like, okay, we got to encourage these kids, but how do you get the masses to care? How do you get them to care? I'm just curious. I actually will not be as verbose this episode. I'm really like wanting to listen because I've lived in this world for the last 3 days, putting together 2 shows about it. So I'm just listening to you guys today.
I don't even know if, okay. So this individual makes a video, more than likely trying to build up his following, right? Trying to go viral off the backs of kids. It worked, right? It also brought an issue to the forefront, that people may not have been aware of, but it's like the same rule of thumb goes like, oh man, I didn't know we had a literacy crisis. And then next minute they're like squirrel, it's like it's gone. It's gone. And so so there's that. But it doesn't take away from the fact that they're still, I mean, that's what people do now. They pick these like particular issues, and they figure out how to get it into the algorithm. But I think with the actual, I don't know how you get people activated or alarmed around the literacy issue. I mean, I think back to the when was it, in the 1960s, the A Nation at Risk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but that was also a different time where people's brain spans, our brains like literally function.
I don't know, we were still reading.
Right? This is like a long report, and people are like, "Oh my goodness, this is not good." Right? Nowadays, it's like it's a post, and they're just like, "Who cares?" So I think you have to be more. I think we need to be more focused on the actual like end user, not the student, but like the parents. Parents are really going to be the only ones that
Right.
really give a shit about this stuff, and even down to the level of like their own kid. You're going to have community activists, education activists that raise the alarm, but really it comes down to like is my kid reading at grade level? And if they're not, like, what do I do about it? And how bad is the problem in that classroom? How bad is the problem in my school? How bad is the problem in my district? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I think people just don't. We saw this in Oakland, Charles.
Yeah.
Campaigning for school board candidates, most of whom won. And we would go into these neighborhoods in Oakland, up in the hills, where there weren't a whole lot of kids. It was mainly an older demographic. And we're like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, we're here campaigning for, whoever for a school board. And they're like, oh, I don't have kids in the schools. I'm like, but you live in the city.
Right.
And if our schools suck, it's going to bring crime to your door. People, they didn't see that connection. I'm like, it should matter for everybody, right? Good schools are good for everyone, not just students. They're good for the neighborhoods. They're good for society. They're good for, old people, young people. You got your kids in private school, doesn't matter. You still live in the city. You should want to have a good functioning school board. So trying to make that connection is very, very hard for people.
Yeah. Jude,
Pardon
you're
me.
muted though. Oh, go ahead. Oh, but Jude,
No.
you're muted.
Go ahead, Jude.
Yeah, lots of thoughts here. So first and foremost, how do we get everybody to care? I think if you remember when COVID hit our world,
yeah,
there were a bunch of people online making fun of it, right? That'll never happen. That's for white people. It's never going to come to my house, until it was declared a pandemic and it hit your household and you couldn't go outside. You had to wear a mask everywhere. You had to wash your mail so that you wouldn't, die of COVID, right? Or a close family member of yours ended up, in ICU or passed away, or whatever. When it hit your household, they started to care about it and take the necessary precautions so that hopefully it wouldn't, take you over. You wouldn't be impacted by it. But there was almost no way to get rid of it. And I think where our world is with literacy, it's the same way. And so I think everyone will care, eventually, but it'll be at different points. And I think, to your point, I agree. It is us as parents, right? We are the first rung. Like, yes, we need to care when nobody else cares, because these are our children that we brought into this world. And we're responsible for ensuring that they get the education they need and that they are literate and they're reading and writing. But it is always in conjunction and in partnership with other stakeholders who I think should care just as much. Right. And even before a teacher gets into the classroom, I'm always talking about teacher preparation programs, because I think as a nation, we let literacy slip out of our hands. We let people that we thought, were, researchers and really were at the top of the game and were going to help us have a literate nation. We let them tell us that this is the way to go. Whole time, 20, 30 years down the line, and millions of dollars later, it was like, no, this actually is not the way you teach reading, right? And so we don't have, a nation filled with strong teacher preparation programs. And so I think a lot of it also starts there, because are we taking it so seriously that we are ensuring that if you come to this school as a teacher, right, or as a student who is aspiring to be a teacher of reading, that we're going to make sure you become an expert before you leave here, at least on a basic level, right? You're not going to leave here with myths. You're not going to leave here with a misconception of how to teach reading, because it's that important that when you step into a kindergarten, first, second, third grade classroom, you're teaching reading, that you get it right, because these kids don't have a second chance at that. So I think, yes, we are the first rung. I think colleges and whoever's preparing our teachers, they are another part of that rung. And I think the decision makers in terms of professional development, when teachers do get into the field, that's another rung, right? So I think it will take all of us. It always takes all of us. But I also think that this is something that we may have ignored, not us, because we're educators, but I think the ignorance comes from, like, we're okay. We have videos. We'll put on the caption. We substitute. Oh, pen and paper. We don't need that. Just take out the iPad and just have them, watch that. And instead of kind of, standing strong against the other forces that came to try to push away all the things that create strong literacy, we kind of acquiesced and was like, oh, well, they're below grade level. Let's give them an iPad. Oh, well, let's give them an audio book. And the push was lessened. And I think over time, gradually, we got to the place that we're at. So.
At the same time this is happening, a sister just lost her job or quit or whatever in Tennessee. I think it was Tennessee, because they wanted her to change the grades to a 50 from 0.
Oh, yeah. I saw that one too. Yeah.
And I think that I do a lot on grade inflation. I do a lot on that stuff, and I do it with students. And one of the last reports, and again, I just presented to 400 teachers in Oakland over 2 schools. I'm sorry, over the Bay Area, Vallejo and in Oakland. And I told them their numbers. And I said the most intriguing number wasn't even the 3 out of 10 versus the 8 out of 10 that thought they were proficient versus 3 out of 10 that were. It was the 74% of students that said no adult ever talked to them about if they were proficient. And I said that to these adults, because I'm saying they talking about you. They saying to you. And I think that culturally, we just becoming less literate, like in the post-literate. Like look, man, I used to be excited. We used to get Sports Illustrated for kids when I was in school. We used to get the book fair used to come, and it was like even the bully wanted a good book. Goosebumps. Mm-hmm. Kids used to carry around Lord of the freaking Rings and just read it. Mm-hmm. Not only did they read it, and I saw this on a post, so I don't want to steal their thing. The post said not only were they reading Lord of the Rings, they were writing fan fiction in middle school. That's how you got Twilight, right? Wasn't Twilight fan fiction of it's fan fiction of something. It was bore out of some
maybe
other
Anne Rice or something.
Something, right? So the point is, and that's why I was so interested to talk to you guys, because I don't even want to talk about him no more. He could be a great guy. He could be a piece of shit. I don't know. It could be it was effective, but it was kind of a shitty way to do it. I don't know. But as Toya said, right, as Toya said, I'm not like, and that's what she said. She said she was into the conversation at first when it was around literacy, and then something changed through the comments where it got to be about him and scamming and this, that, and the third. And it's like, wait, we almost had a moment. Mm-hmm. We almost had something there. So, I think the one thing that we're doing that did not happen there, and as we come to a close soon, we can do this another round and then close out. But like our solutions, we kind of named it. I named a few, Jube named a few, but let's give these people something like, just where do you want to go with this topic? Because I almost wanted to talk about parents. I almost wanted to talk about the level of adults that struggle with reading, and it's not a shame thing. Let me just say this before I say it's not a shame thing. I'm a doctor, whatever. I don't care about those things. And even I have to read things 3 and 4 times at times. I have to read it I'm writing all through stuff. I have to go back, in my own comprehension. So if somebody with a doctorate is telling you, hey, there's no shame in you struggling to read as well, because that's part of the issue. Anyway, I'm babbling. Let me stop because I do care about this issue. Like I said, I'm not going to break out into tears. but the level of apathy about it
Want you to.
disheartening. So,
I want you to cry about that shit.
not cry. I do something about it.
Man,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm
in a book club still. So
a river. Just
so
like
let's
this
go with some
man's right
solutions
here.
and then we can close out. But
Yeah,
you can
let me
David.
say it, like just a few things. And to quote, as you quoted Mark Miles, I'd like to quote the poet Snoop Dogg while you're on stage whacking at your whack ass concert. Here's where I'm worried, Doc, and here's where I'm worried, Jube and Dave. Amongst the millions of responses, how many of them were about, oh shoot, we got like literacy crisis, and how many of them were about talking shit, putting this dude down, making fun of him, or calling him out on, like going off the backs of kids. I think it's ironic that the written comment section is demonstrating the post-literate world as well. So Dave's right. It's the squirrel theory. He's going to be like, oh, shoot, we got like a problem with literacy. And then like, I'm going to jump to the next and completely forget about this. The question then becomes, what are the conversations that we're having? So what I find is that teachers just need simple solutions. So going into the classroom yesterday, I was looking at our high schoolers' literacy levels because we used IXL. Dave, you're real familiar with that. And it was like second grade level for ninth grader. I'm like, all right, so here's what IXL is giving as an example of what to do next. But the teacher then gets stuck. And I'm like, dude, get into Claude, use ChatGPT, and use this prompt to be like, give me 30 minutes of literacy-based homework every night, pen and paper for this child that will accelerate this particular skill. And how can I grade it and tell if it's being used in ChatGPT? And then I was like, disseminate that homework and then tell those kids the next day, there's 25 of y'all. I'm going to check on 5 of y'all every single day to see if you did this. Don't know which 5, but those of you that did, here's this positive incentive to encourage good work. For those that didn't, you're going to do double the work. Now you're not only going to do this, you're going to double that, and I'm going to take you away from your lunch or your elective because there ain't no getting away from the work. The problem, Doc, is that even teachers get a little stuck and overcomplicate the issue, and they're just thinking like, well, how am I going to get my kid to read War and Peace? And I'm like, how about giving the kid an article? How about giving the kid like 3 pages, and we'll start with that just to get the kid cognizant of literature. And then you start jumping into longer articles. Then you start jumping into books. It was interesting to me because I've been having these conversations for weeks now, just how much it means to have an adult be like, yeah, I read. The kids are like dumbfounded. They're like, Mister, you read? I'm like, yeah, dude, I didn't like go to college on the ability of watching videos, and I didn't get through college watching videos. You'd be shocked to know if you make reading and literacy cool, and you're having constant conversations about it, we're already battling it. So for our parents, for our audience members, it's just as simple as like, hey, what book you reading? Well, I ain't reading no book. Be like, what are you interested in? I saw this article the other day. I saw this magazine the other day. I was talking to a 6th grader. He's like, I hate reading. And I was like, what are you reading? He's like, I like comic books. I was like, you ever read Batman? Like, that's some complicated shit.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't going to start him out with The Dark Knight Returns, but like, I've got a list of Batman comics that I can get him just to at least start looking at written word.
Favorite
it's one of the best books of all time.
One of the greatest things I've ever read. It is incredible. Like,
yeah,
and complex is all get out. I'm sorry, I got excited. Go ahead. I'm gonna go.
I'm excited with you. Yeah, but that's like that. That's it. That's my solution. That's because what I don't want to do is like, I've got solutions up the yin yang for our school and how you implement it in the school. I think for our audience, what they wonder is like, well, I don't work at a school. What do I do? Is like, read to your kid 20 minutes at night. Read with your kid. I don't care what you're reading. Ask them what book you're reading. You choose a book and you read 20 minutes. take 20 minutes where it's like, hey, as a family, we're just going to sit down. All the phones are off. I'm going to put them in another room and we're just going to read. Tell me what you read. And I'm going to tell you what I read. And it's the consistency factor. Night 1, night 2, that kid might fake it, but night 3, night 4, night 5, they're going to really start getting a lot more into it, especially if there's something that they're interested in. Those are the small things that we can do. What I think I'm seeing is that COVID killed us.
Sorry.
Killed us. That is hysterical. I ain't reading no book. It's a real problem.
No, it was the one. It was the one below that one. I
didn't read that
scroll
one
for now.
Trying to gather.
I've taken off the scroll now. It's okay. It
Well,
is
I mean,
okay.
Bill, I don't know if you can necessarily read that. I mean, I guess you can. Like my buddy's wife is a surgeon, and she's reading that stuff. But I don't think I got to worry about her literacy. Harlequin romance novels, Bill, still literature, and that's what I'm going to leave it on right there. That's the takeaway comic, David. Harlequin romance novels, baby. Remember
do you want to wrap in your final thought?
That is just done.
Okay,
boom.
got it.
I got a quick one, and I'll get out of the way.
You can take time, brother. Go ahead.
Your comments, Omar, reminded me of a platform that we used to use, which is still around, and I'm sure it's even better now today than it's ever been. Where at least in the history classroom, in the social science classroom, we could send students off with an assignment to read an article on a particular subject, come back and have a conversation about it in school.
Yeah.
But this particular tool was designed and based off of the reading, like lexile level of each student. So everybody was reading the same content, but like at a different level of literacy, right? And I'm like, what a novel idea, right? Everybody gets the same content, but they're able to access it depending on where they're at as a reader. I think the bigger issue is, going back to this viral clip, I don't think it's up to individual teachers to, it shouldn't be up to individual teachers to raise the alarm bell. I do think if you're a teacher and people are going to figure out where you work, it raises all kinds of ethical issues for me around again, not violating the privacy rights of your kids because you're not sharing their test scores, but there's definitely an ethical line that this guy crossed. Mm-hmm. I think the alarm bell needs to be raised by school and systems leaders. They're the ones with the large data sets that say we have a literacy problem in Houston ISD or in El Paso or in wherever it is, right? And one thing that I piloted when I was principal in Oakland at the high school, and people did not like this, was we would do quarterly benchmark assessments for science, for social science, for English, and for math, right? Using a particular program that would pull questions from the state standards, for the fall, for the winter, for the spring, and they would have their summative at the end. And we would post that data publicly on our website, not at the student level.
Right, exactly.
You could see as a whole, how kids were doing for 9th grade ELA across 3 classrooms, or 9th grade geography or whatever. And, teachers did not like that, but they got used to it. And I'm like, no. And we're not just doing it to embarrass people, but we also had to back it up with, okay, now what are you going to do about it? And that was accountability for me as a principal. I'm going to be very public about our data. And I'm also going to be very clear that we're committed to shifting this data. And we're going to focus on the areas where our kids are furthest behind. And we did that in math. We did that in science, and we could demonstrate it to the public. Right. So it was real accountability, but it didn't come from a viral post from a teacher or from somebody going to the newspaper, whatever. Like, we took accountability because we were stewards of public money that we got to do a particular job, and we took it very seriously. I think what this guy did is kind of just all theatrics, and I don't know, man. I mean, it's just I mean, if that guy was working for me and he did that,
I wouldn't be working for you anymore.
Well, I mean,
He
like,
wouldn't be working for me
brother,
anymore.
like, it's instead of making these like, trifling ass videos, why don't you go and help kids read?
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, that's my closing thoughts.
Yeah.
I got you.
God bless the children.
Ju,
Right.
your some guidance for what people can do and rolling your final thoughts.
For sure. I think the dude could have used that moment to galvanize people, honestly. Theatrics or not, performative or not, it could have created a real moment for change, if he's that kind of influencer or was able to get, garner this much attention around that video. Secondly, it's not enough data, provided for us to really even take what he said seriously. I think I take what he says seriously because of what we all know, because we are all educators and we all do this work for real. So we know that we're in crisis as it relates to literacy. But when it's like they couldn't read, they couldn't write, not even 2 paragraphs. It's like, it's too many variables. About what, from where, what standard, what are they overage? Are they illiterate or are they below proficiency? Those are 2 different things. Are you saying they cannot decode A, B, C, D, E, F, G? They cannot compose simple words, or that they are reading far below where they should be reading? Because that's not illiterate, that's being below proficiency. So there's a whole bunch surrounding that, but I think it was a missed opportunity. If he would have had some kind of hook at the end, like, I'm doing a fundraiser for books or for tutors, we need more help in these educational streets, then I think, it would have been worth its weight, but not so much. In terms of solutions, I think it's still on us to model the way. I used to always tell my families when I was principal and AP, like, it doesn't matter how much money you make, right? It matters how you show up and how you demonstrate what is important in your household, right? In your family. And that doesn't have anything to do with your socioeconomic status. So for all the families who felt like they could not help their child because they couldn't read, or they dropped out of school in 5th grade, it's like, that's okay. When you hold your child accountable and say, look, you need to make sure you finish reading before you go outside or play them video games, or let me see your homework, or you didn't allow your level of education to stop you from holding your kids, accountable for making sure that they were obtaining their education. So I think modeling the way still works. If you are connected to children in any way, whether they're yours or not, whether it's by way of, social work, being a teacher, being a pastor, being a community member, being a neighbor, model the way, and talk to kids in your world. Remind them that reading, that literacy, being literate is important, and it's never going to not be important. I also think, I think teachers, I take my hats off to teachers because I think they have it the hardest, especially now where you could be teaching. I was speaking to my sister, this morning, right? And, she has folks that are on grade level and all that, but she also has the babies that are not, and they all have to be taught the same thing. It's like, okay, if I do have a group of, 9th graders, but they're on the 6th grade level, I, as the classroom teacher, am now responsible for teaching that 9th grade content, but the comprehension is at a 6th grade level, and nobody's letting up to be like, oh, we'll get you some help to try to bring them up here. And so that remains to be the struggle right there. Yep. However, I think there is still a lot to be said for conquering the frustration that comes along with children who are reading below grade level, the shame that's experienced, that what Charles alluded to earlier, by bringing in or bringing back the fun, the excitement, the enjoyment, bringing back the content area. So it's like, okay, we are reading this 9th grade text, and you're at this level, but let me figure out a way to bridge the gap by way of using the audiobooks in concert with the hard copy book. So you are hearing the vocabulary and you're reading, right? You might actually pick up some more language by having both of those at the same time. right? Let's talk about what you can do in reading. Let's make some connections in science and in social studies, and let's show you how this same theme is coming up in this text, right? So I think that's the challenge for teachers, to really figure out that middle ground and the resources that help to bridge the gap, but to also not only rely on getting to proficiency, the work behind the reading, and more so leaning on reading is enjoyable. It's fun. It helps us learn new things, bringing that into our world. And then lastly, I'll say we have all these celebrities. This is my call to all the celebrities in the world, the Cardi B's and all the people that be holding all the money in the videos. These kids are watching y'all. Like, you can help us have a more literate society, right? Instead of accepting actually get your coins, right? If McDonald's wants you to be plastered, helping them to sell their quarter pounders, well, maybe you could help sell literacy too, right? And I think y'all remember Reading is Fundamental. Do y'all remember that initiative? Right? Bring that back. Reading fundamental. Yeah. It's fundamental, Rip,
yes.
Right? A whole generation of people. I mean, a lot of people in the 80s were on drugs, right? But a lot of people didn't do drugs because they started frying that egg and saying, this is your brain on drugs. Like, let's use all of our mediums to support literacy, a literate society. It takes all of us. It's not really just one stakeholder. It's not one faction. It's all of us.
Yeah, and I would say for mine, and hopefully y'all bear with me. I'm not gonna say much about him. Bro, thank you for getting us to talk about it. I don't really know what you do or care about what you do. I'm not gonna cast aspersions on you. I'm moving on. You got millions of people talking about this thing. Two, I don't even think the solution is on teachers. This is a community issue. This is a societal issue. And I'm gonna be honest with you, as somebody who does train and support teachers, many of them are not strong readers either. And I'm sorry, but you can't lead the ELA department if you don't read yourself, if you're not writing yourself. You can't read the math department if you hate numbers. It's just not a thing. But I don't even want to go to them. The one thing I'll mention about a teacher and what opened up my world for reading and why Lord of the Flies is and will forever be one of my favorite books. It is not because it's just this literary masterpiece. Some people feel it is, some people feel it's not. We had a really cool teacher in high school, and he bought the books and he told us and made us write in the books. It was the first time. It was like this unwritten rule. Like, the schools I went to, you damn near got expelled if they caught you writing in the book. Yes. We had to read a chapter, do notes and notations and ask questions in the book and turn the book in. And he would and it was dope. Like, I felt like an adult. I don't know how to say it. I think there's a lot of adults that struggle with reading, and I think that there's a lot of shame around it. And I think that's why I'm so forthcoming and being like, nah, sometimes I got to read these things over and over. You can read fun text. This is Watchmen. It is one of the most complicated, beautiful things written, and it's revolutionary. And Alan Moore, I don't know if you know who Alan Moore is. If you like Watchmen, V for Vendetta, he's a weird guy, but damn it, he don't even want money from it. He don't want you making movies off his books. He hates it, right? Like, and as Lanterns just the person who made Watchmen into an HBO show just did Lanterns, which debuted and is great. So this, and when I was a kid, this was like the holy grail. This is an omnibus. I don't know if you know what an omnibus is. This is DC versus Marvel. First off, in order to even get these guys to write together and draw together, there was a 10-year beef in between where the shit stopped and they came back. It's like a war. But anyway, some of the best things that I've read, here's what I'll say though, man. Taking teachers out of it, taking this guy out of it. Hey, man, read with your kids. Read with your friends. Be the annoying friend that sends articles to the friend group. Be the and then ask them how it was. Let them get on you about it. Like, we got to get back into reading more. And what you just said, Jew, around celebrities, when they were doing their tours, they used to have to go to Reading Rainbow. They used to go to Sesame Street. Like,
bring it back.
Snoop Dogg was on Sesame Street.
Please.
Oprah's doing Sesame Street, right? Like, Reading Rainbow, like what that it's just like on the other side with science and Bill Nye. Like, again, I thought science was terrible, and then Bill Nye, the science guy, came, and I was like, Do I want to be a scientist now? Is this what I want to do? Is this like the coolest? Oh, y'all just suck at teaching this thing, but we can't keep, for as much as I have complained about the state of education and teaching, I can't then come and look at this large ass issue that's plaguing people that I know and love and then be like, the solution got to be on them. Like, nah, man, I read when kids want to come play on my court. I got books and stuff, man. Hey, y'all can come hoop. You got to tell me about that book. I just think we have to start reading again. I'm not about to go into this whole religion thing, and I'm going to stop. Just bear with me. Well, the article that I just talked about, y'all have an advanced copy. People will be able to read it soon. I use pseudonyms. All three of those people are pseudonyms, but those are real names of real people. 2 of them are dead, and 1 of them is in and out of jail for the rest of his life. He's related to me. 2 out of 3 of them I know could not read. I remember 1 of them was like the best football player, super gangster dude. Didn't nobody mess with him, and we had world history together, and we used to have to read out loud. And the brother was reading he couldn't do it. And 2 months later, he was out of that school, and 3 years later, he was dead. Like, listen, I mean, so a little more than 3 years. The point that I'm making is, I'm not about to cry these crocodile tears, but we know what comes with that not being able to read. We know the shame in that, and we know that there's not much waiting for somebody if they can't. And so I just thought it was interesting. I love this grounded perspective conversation we had about literacy. I can't land this plane well, so I'm just going to end the show. But thank y'all. I appreciate it because I really wanted to hear what you guys thought, and it did not disappoint. But everybody that's watching, I'm not putting this on teachers because most of y'all ain't teachers, and y'all get to be like, well, that ain't a me thing. That ain't my problem. If you got a household, you got people in that house, you know if your kid is reading, you know if you read with your wife, you know if you read with your husband, you know if you share, when you share funny memes with your sister or brother, if you ever share an article, we can start doing that. And with that being said, that's Jude, that's David. Go ahead, Jude.
You just said we know that there's no good thing that comes out of, I'm paraphrasing, but nothing good comes out of it or not much is waiting for you, not much good is waiting for you if you cannot read, right? And I wonder if that belief has shifted in our society. I wonder, because of all of the quote unquote social media successes and the influencers, if a mindset has shifted to, well, there's a bunch of stuff I could do if I ain't literate. Look at this guy, look at that guy. And though it might be a small, data set, I guess in the world of social media, everything seems closer than what it really is, more attainable than what it really is. Mm-hmm. So I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm just saying it made me think, like, I wonder if I believe what you said. And I think, there's not much good waiting if you're not a literate person in this world. But I know that there are several things that have happened over the past decade and change that may have shifted people to think, I don't need to read.
But I think looking at those people is akin to looking at, I'm putting all my chips and going into the NFL or the NBA. I'm looking at the everyday person and what's waiting for them. If they can read, if they have some achievement, if they can go in the world and read things and decipher it and do all those things. Jube, you are very good at introducing new topics as we have to go out that we can't address. But I love this episode. Mm-hmm. Somebody asked for an implementation episode. If we don't, somebody can use that.
We're still, but tell him that we're still in the planning phases. We're not in implementation yet.
We're still in planning. We're not in implementation yet. I think you just told him, but I told him too. But that's Jude. Y'all gonna let me close this damn show now. That's Jude.
Good topic.
That's Omar and that's David. I am Charles, and we will see you all next week. Same bat time, same bat station, and you got a little bit more power than you think. With that being said, y'all take care of yourselves and each other. God bless. Peace.